So I think it's different now than what it was. It used to be more direct, or I don't know about direct, but it was less collaborative. Now I can't just say, here, you're going to do this, or try to do it all myself. It's impossible. So I have to get it done through others. So I have to slow down and ask everybody what they think. So it's more of a coach or a teacher than as much as I would love to be a wartime general. I just can't.
I can see you might have a little bit of that quality in you. Okay?
Dictator.
But, right. And I used to be, but you have to, and I would just put in processes here. You don't like this, here's this penalty. And I'm just going to make it more and more painful and just, thump it. But then they would just do it until I left. And then as soon as I left, it would revert back to the way it was versus, like we talked about this morning. I eventually got to the point where, with some people that I trusted, and they were coming to me, which is tough because they knew I was going to be defensive. They knew I was going to be reactive. And I was just going to say, no, how about we talk about, your shortcomings, and let's talk about all the appointments you haven't set today, because you always try to flip the script. Don't come in here when you haven't done what you needed to do, is immediately where my mind used to go, versus, so why do you say that? And what brought you to this conclusion? Because I know now that it's not easy for them to approach me and tell me that they disagree with me and that they don't think it's the right thing to do. I mean, it takes a lot of courage, right? And a lot of strength to be able to do that. So it's also an obligation you have to your associates, is to hear them out. And what I found is more than half the time, they'd come up with a better solution. I didn't have to stay up all night writing out processes, coming up with all this stuff just for everybody to tell me that's never going to work. So which causes you to get defensive, because you spend a lot of time, you get some cost bias building all this stuff out. And so at one point, in fit of frustration, I'm like, look, this is the best that I could come up with. I'm at my wit's end. If you have a better way to do it, then, give me back a revised version or something to that effect. And if everybody agrees that it's a better way to go, we'll go with that. But until you do that, this is the way we're moving forward.
I love that.
The bulk of people will look at that and they're like, that's way too much work. It's less work just to do it. Yeah. But the next up and coming leaders will look at that and they'll really improve on it. And that we have these certain non-negotiables. I keep on saying had at the Germain Toyota store.
Right.
And I didn't write any of them. They took like a basic structure and made them like 3M all better, but they're still sitting right behind the sales tower. And they're like their constitution or their constitutional amendments. It's how they live. It's like their religion, and they created it. It's their Bill of Rights, if you will.
Yeah.
And I give them some ideas, but they finished it.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to tell you about a workshop we're holding at NADA 2023. We're covering how EV adoption rates will impact fixed operations in the future. We'll show you real and meaningful data that might just put you at ease. Or maybe not. You'll have to come see. Come join us at our workshop, How Electric Vehicles Will Change Fixed Operations. We'll see you there.